believe I didn't think about this earlier. It makes this so much easier. So, how-to video for the noobs and just a refresher for some of the younger vets and older vets that may have forgotten. First things first, you have your team now. Something that you want to do, you want to change your avatar. So what you're going to do, let me zoom in here. You can see here I'm logged into the message board. Go to user control panel right there. And you're going to go down to board preference, I believe. Whoops. Actually, no, profile. Wrong button anyway. And you're going to go down here to edit avatar, which will be the third option here on the left side. Click on that. Really feel awful that I had to have that for as long as I did, all because of losing a stupid bet. But anyway, down here at the bottom, you're going to click on display gallery. Category here, NDL 13. Zoom in so you can see that. And then you just find your team. The name is at the bottom, the check box is at the bottom, so you just scroll down until you see your team. And it's mandatory for those of you that don't know. New guys, it's mandatory that you have this so it's easier to recognize you. Off season, we know people like to have fun with them within reason, because we have the whole not suitable for work thing, or in my case, school, because apparently, as weird as it is, I could somehow manage to go so far looking at stuff I'm not supposed to look at, but video games are instant block here. San Diego, really weird. Oh, there's mine, Southern Miss. Nice sexy helmet. Click on the button, go all the way to the bottom. Or not. There we go, up at the top, figures. Click submit. Profile's been updated. Right away you see, there we go, bam, Southern Miss. So everybody can recognize who I am. Cool. And clicking back here, something else that you want to do, coaching contracts are mandatory to sign. Back on the message board here, so you're going to scroll down until you find your conference. Conference information right here. I'm in Conference USA. If you don't know what conference you're in, you can go to the stats site and click on standings and you'll see. We'll get to that in a minute. And see, already almost half the guys have done it. Boom. Southern Miss. I'm going to get back to this in a minute. But what you want to do here at the bottom is sign your contract, basically agreeing to follow all the rules and regulations. I'll explain a little bit more. The rules you can look at for yourself. The regulations I will do my best to explain. What you're going to look at here, you're going to reply with the stuff at the bottom there. Done this a bit, so I should be used to it. First thing is name. Just make it simple. I usually do full name, not doing it this time. Your PSN name, which Sammy33. What's next? I think your aim. Yep. Aim, email, and then playing time. So I'll go ahead and put that in. Aim is CU. Sucks even when you have it in the history on your PS3. It's bad. CSLX Sammy33. My email, which I had to change because my crap keeps getting hacked. You have nothing better to do. And then playing times. Generally, it's just give a good indication of when you think you'll be available to play. I mean, of course, it's going to differ. Not everyone has easy 9-to-5 day jobs, or you know, you have families and stuff. So just something simple. What after? resolve. And click submit. Coach contract is signed. So now there's a couple other things that we should look at here. First of all, going back to the stat site, I'm going to click on the timeline here just so we can get an idea. I had it and I didn't go over it too much. So where we're sitting at here right now, this is going to go up Friday morning. But what we have here, we just finished the draft, so we're about like halfway through here. So right here is the draft. Out of conference is open. Scheduling conference challenge, preseason poll. Season begins on 25th. Might be a little earlier depending on how they decide to do it in the cup. All dates are subject to change. Always nice to have a disclaimer in there. So what I want to show you guys is what to do next. Out of conference scheduling, definitely one of the funner parts of the league. As some of you new guys get older here, you'll make your coach rivals. Most of us that have been in the league for a while, I mean, we generally have people that we play. Some do every season. Some have people that they play every now and then. Just depends on the situation. So what you're going to do, log into the message board. As homie said, when you log in, you should be able to zoom all the way up into the top right and see that I have my team. So there's a couple things I want to look at. Before I actually get into the scheduling, I want to explain something first, and that's how we get to the draft of day 1, day 2. Getting fired. Such a fun topic to talk about. So, there's a couple things here. The way that it is made up is you're graded on a score of 0 to 100. 40% of your points are coaching or based off your coach reports. 40% of your points are based on your participation, and 20% on season success, which I was getting at last time. Now that we have our teams in the stat site, it makes it a little easier to show. Wow, so awesome. Got it right up there. So, coaching contract. I have a B- team. Cool. Couple things to look at. And that takes you, I'm guessing, to the site. It's actually pretty cool. I'll just click in and see where it takes me. Oh, wow. That's actually pretty damn awesome. And that almost looks like my handwriting, too. Cool. So, what was I looking at? Participation. We'll start with that. That's 40% of your points. Every time you play a game. Let's click on the link up here. You can go other ways, but let's click on Southern Miss. I think that's cool for those that like to do stuff you can edit, and you have like little articles that people can read, type, pictures, videos, whatever you want to do. Free to do a lot of stuff. So your schedule should be here. You might want to check. I'm sure they got everything in there, but you want to make sure that the teams in conference play schedule or the out-of-conference rivals that you know for sure that you're supposed to have are there. So I have my full team schedule here. Got 8 conference games, 4 home, 4 away, 6 bye weeks. That's cool. As I was kind of talking about last time, you clicked on locked here, and this will be where you put in the stats. There should be a little button here at the bottom, I believe, since it's similar to what it's like in the basketball league. I don't know if I can link it from here just to give you a better idea what we're looking at. Let's see. Kind of sad that basketball league kind of fell off. Yeah. Oh, let's just click on me. The Lakers. Just as an example. Games in there. So you click on the thing, and it'll be the same thing. You click on preview. And then you'll see a link at the bottom here, team stats and player stats. The winner puts in team stats. Both players are responsible for putting in their player stats. Put them in respectively. There's a couple ways of doing it. You can write them down. Some of you guys are used to League Daddy or other things. Write them down and then put them in on the computer later. Some of us have our computer right next to us as we're playing. Make it easy. I'll just click on player stats, and it's kind of what it is here. You'll click on the player. whatever it is, or whoever it is, and then you'll have the different stats that you fill out for that position. This is basketball, so of course everyone has the same things that they're judged on. Football will be different. Quarterbacks will be separate. They'll have their quarterback stats. It'll be based off position on offense, and then defense lumped together. I mean, sure, most of you have been in a league know that. If you don't, you'll see it when you do it. You put them in, you click submit, bam, they're done. Cool thing about it for us here, homies did a good job of putting the stuff together. So you can click on player stats, and for the conference commissioners or those that just like to see where they rank in conference, you can click on your individual conference and it'll have your players ranked. You can click on individual weeks and it'll have players ranked. So really a lot of, for the guys that are really in the stats, got a lot to look at. So just point out that'll come a little bit later in the season. Also, something else to point out looking at your schedule. I can go ahead and pull that back up here. Current schedule. That's not what I was looking for, so we'll go back to that. Close that for now. You'll notice here at the bottom underneath you have the NDL Cup. Not up yet. As I said before, it's a 123 team tournament, completely randomized. You get wherever you get put. Simple as that. So you it's really fun. It makes for matchups that you never would have thought of, and you know, some people look at it as extra scrimmages for a game. You know, people that really can't find the time to play extra games, it's like an extra scrimmage for you, so that's cool. So all of your games, inputting stats will go here. Now back to participation. That counts as participation, putting in your stats and doing a recap for every game. The easiest way to kill yourself as far as being in the draft. Those should be the easiest points that you get. 40% of just doing the simple things that you got to do. Stats every game. And going up here to forms, something else. Back a little farther out here. Can't wait to have this new stuff in so I can do this on the computer. It'll be a lot easier. You have poll voting. We'll have preseason polls. They'll open here. There'll be an announcement put up every week. Really, it happens. Everybody forgets from time to time. There's a preseason poll, and then depending on how we're going to do the blocks this season, not sure yet. We'll see what Buckeye decides. The way we had done it is you had 2 games every block. So after every block, you had to vote in the poll. So you would come here and vote. It's not open yet, so I really can't show you, but there will always be a voting aid up during the season. Our Mountain West guy, Wasik, is very good at keeping it up to date. So for those of you that need the visual help on how to do it, you have that for basically you're free to vote however you want. None of them are made public until you get to the very end, and usually there'll be some people that will complain about some, but everybody is free to vote how they want to vote. And pretty much that's it. So yeah, you sort by the 25. There's 2 ways of doing it. There's a drop down method, which is kind of like picking the players that I was showing you on the stat site. Then there's also the drag and drop, where you have all of the logos of the teams and you can drag it into the number spot that you want to do it. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. Whatever you prefer. I believe if you do it that way, the drag and drop, that it also keeps it from week to week. So if you vote, then you're able to change, like you already have your top 25 there, and then you can move according to how people played. Cool and very handy. So you've got that. You also have, so that is going to be your full 40%. You play all of your games. You put in all of your stats. You vote in the polls. And you do your recaps for every game. 40 points, easy right there. Then you have another 40 points. And it's going to be coach reports. This also under the form section here. So they are locked. Hopefully it'll let me at least look at the form. It might not. And it's not. This is a little bit subjective. Everyone is going to do this a little bit differently. If I recall correctly, everyone is scored on a scale of 1 to 5 in a couple different areas. 1 is, I believe, overall play. 5 being the highest, 5 being what you want to get. Offense, defense, formation, variety, knowing the rules. And I believe the last one is sportsmanship. I might be wrong on that, but when the weeks are open, you'll be able to take a look for yourself and see. It's grade everyone from 1 to 5, and you can put in comments. Comments are anonymous, so you don't have to worry about someone being able to hunt you down and say you said that, unless you want to attach your name to it, which you're free to do. I really don't care, because I have few complaints about the way that people play. One thing that I will say for you new guys, definitely read the rules. You probably want to play a few scrims against the vet so you can get some insight into what may or may not be favorable here on the game. There's a couple things I do want to say, though, not to impose my opinion on anyone. If you have an issue with someone's gameplay, obviously you can dock them. You should attempt, I would say it would be in your best interest and in your opponent's best interest for you to talk about it, whether it be on instant message, if you're playing a mic game, to discuss it. It's not so much that you're getting back at the player, but you have to realize this player is also going to be playing against other people, and there are certain things that you're not going to like, or things that you don't think that they do that are very sim-like or within the, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say ideal situation of the rules, something like that. I don't really know how to describe it, but basically, like, the rules are intended to do this, this, and this, and, you know, it's obviously not within the spirit. There we go. Spirit of gameplay, you know, sportsmanship, all that stuff. It's best to talk about it beforehand, because these guys have to play other people. It's better for them to hear criticism early on, so it's something that they can fix, instead of waiting until the end of the season and being dinged and not knowing about it and no one saying anything. On the other hand, it's something that we do discuss here often every season. You get your coach score, and like I said, that's also 40% of your grade. You play 12 opponents. I don't remember if bowl games count too. I don't think cup games do, but bowl games and conference championship games may count. I don't remember. But if you get that far, you'll see. So all of those scores get averaged together. So basically 12 times 5. For each game, basically you have 25 points available. So that's 300 points. And whatever you get out of that 300 points will be what your score is for the season. You divide it, you get your percentage, bam, then that's what you'll get of the 40 points. Very simple. 2 things I will say about this. One, at the end of the season, when you see your score, a lot of people, there's 2 things you want to understand. One, for the most part, it's supposed to be constructive criticism. Don't take it personal. Reflect on it. If more than one person's saying it, it might be something you want to look into. But also, if only one person is saying it, you do have to realize there's 123 guys in this league. We all have different ways of how we play the game, and, you know, we view things differently. For example, I don't care if people pass 80 times a game. That's just me. Don't really care. Don't care if they run 80 times a game. And I also understand when you run so much and pass so much, there's only so many things that you'll be able to do. I look at people's gameplay differently than, say, since I'm looking at my schedule, Feisty will look at it, or Champ will look at it. So you have to take that in mind, or take that, you know, into consideration, that people have different ideas of how games are going to be played. There's some things that aren't going to work for some people. They're not going to like it. That's just how they are. And, you know, don't take it personal. So that'd be the other 40%. So then that leaves 20, which is what I was getting at last time. So now that everything's done and I can do this live. Let's look at coach contracts. And then I'll get into out of conference, and this should be good. So, coach contract, the season success is 20%. I want to emphasize it's 20% for two reasons. One, this is a league of fun. This is not supposed to be super uber competitive where people are trying to rip each other apart, trying to win. You know, we still like to have fun, but it's all about camaraderie more than it is about winning, though we all like to win. So what we're going to look at here is we're going to go back to scheduling, and we're going to go back to coach contract, because now I can show you this, exactly what I want to show you. Use myself as an example. So as I was saying last time, let me pull this back up just to make sure that it's still recording, because I don't want to go through all of this again. It is. Yes, okay. So, overall win goal is 40 points. And I will expand on this just a little bit more. But we're going to look at the other stuff. Like I said, it's all 100 points altogether. Think of it as an exam that's worth 20% of your grade, but it's based on a score of 100. I have two rival games, ECU and Memphis. So, together, my rival games are worth 30 points. That means each one is worth 15 apiece. If you have three rival games, each one's worth 10 apiece. If you have one, all 30 on that game. Conference goals, altogether these will total 30, depending on what your team rating is in said conference or division in terms of the conference. That will decide what your win goals are, or conference goals, sorry. So for me, it's in conference play, finish 500 or above. So I have 8 conference games. I have to finish 4 and 4 at a minimum. If I finish 4 or 4, because it says or above, so included, 4 wins or more conference will give me 15 points. 2 division wins. 6 teams in my division, so I have 5 division games. If I win 2 of the 5, I get 15 points. Together, that would give me 30 points. The bonus points, as I said last time, they do not count on top of your overall score of 100 with everything factored together. It only counts as a season success part. So think of it this way. Road win is 2 points. Think of it's just like extra credit on your test. So you're free to schedule all of your out-of-conference games on the road if you want. If you want to try to get 8 bonus points, you can do that. Beating a ranked team while unranked, that'll go on as the season goes on, so you'll be able to see. Beat a ranked team while ranked, same thing. And this is when, regardless of if they're ranked later in the season, is when you're actually playing them in that particular poll week, if they are ranked or unranked, or you're ranked or unranked. So there's that. And the last 3 will kind of depend on what I'm about to show you. If you have a win goal of, say, 4 games and you win 6 games, you get an extra point for each win, so you get 2 extra points. Win conference with win goal of 5 or less. Some teams will have that. If your win goal is 5 or less and you win the conference, you get 10 extra points. The same with making a bowl game if you have a win goal of 2 or less. So that is what your coaching contract looks like. But I want to get back to the win goal because it's going to refer back to out-of-conference scheduling. So it's 40 points, and that's the same for everybody. So looking at it, I'm going to go to my current schedule. And I have a win goal, I believe it was 5.5, 4.5, 5. So looking at it, you got a couple different symbols. This East Carolina game is a push. We were both ranked B-. Well, I guess I should step back. Your team has an overall grade. What that overall grade is how your win goal is determined. If a team is ranked lower than you, that is an expected win. Therefore, it adds 1 to your win goal. If the team is ranked higher than you, it is not. It does not add to your win goal. If the team has the same rating as yours, it's considered a push, and it adds 0.5 to your win goal. That also rounds up, so keep that in mind. So looking at my schedule, this is just conference alone. I have 5 games I'm supposed to win, 2 games I'm supposed to lose, and half of a game, so 5.5. And going down to the bottom here, it shows you right here in the item legend, it shows you everything that I just said. And looking at this little section here, so 5.5 is what my unaltered win goal is because that's what it is. and it's always -1. There are 2 exceptions to win goals. It will always fall in between 1 and 10, so keep that in mind. So you can see here at the bottom right here that my win goal is 4.5. It rounds up to 5. If you have 0.5, it always rounds up. You cannot have a win goal less than 1. So if your win goal is 1, regardless if the -1 factored into making that a 1, you have a win goal of 1. If you have a D team and you schedule D pluses all across the board and you somehow don't play another D team, it does not matter that everyone is ranked higher than you and you should have a win goal of 0. You will have 1. The opposite is if you're a top team. Your max win goal will always be 10. It will never be higher than 10. If you have, I believe USC, they have a rating of A+, if I remember correctly. They play Oregon, which is an A+. So their win goal should be probably 11.5, possibly, depending on the schedule. And if you have -1, that makes it 10.5, so it'll round up to 11. Doesn't matter. Win goal of 10. So pretty much if you have an A+ team, doesn't matter. It's going to be 10. So, and then we're going to look at the out of conference because this is what factors in. So looking here, I'm sure Homie said it in his post, or Buckeye, whoever posted that in the out of conference scheduling thing being open. You have X amount of bye weeks. Everyone has to have 12 games. So you have to have 2 bye weeks. I believe the system that we have now, thanks to Homie, will not allow you to schedule more out of conference games than you're allowed to. It should automatically shut you down. If not, you should be checking yourself. You should not make anything more difficult for the admins, especially Homie. He already does enough stuff for the league, the little things. I'm sure he would appreciate not having to go in and fix stuff like that. So there's a couple things to do. You have search for game, which I'll click on, and then you have current challenges. If I'm looking for someone to play, there's a couple of ways I can do it. You can search by letter grade, and I'll just do it just so you can see what it looks like if you haven't did it yet. So it ranks everyone. All the A+ teams, bam, right there. A-, and it's going to go on and on and on, not going to go down. You can do it by coach, and I believe it should be in alphabetical order. And it is. I'm also not going all the way down that too. And it'll have their team logo next to it, as you can see. You can search by week. It'll show you what teams are available, kind of like how it is in the Dynasty for NCAA, so then you can click on it. And that's going on and on and on and on. If a team is available to play, that should mean that they have an out-of-conference game that they're available to have. If they are not on that list, that means that either one, they do not have that week open, or it also means that they don't have any more out-of-conference games they can schedule. So the earlier you do it, you'll obviously see more teams than you will later in the season. And you can do it by team, and it's sorted by conference, so it makes it easy. So just for shits and giggles, well, first of all, let me see. I believe I have a couple of current challenges. I do. I have a dealer, which we talked about on instant message. So I will confirm. And I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it should send you an email if you get a challenge, and it should send you an email if someone accepts a challenge that you send. So, first of all, let me click on someone else so I can show what it's like. So I was going to play Sean and sacrifice a game to Stanford. So I click on him. It will show what weeks he has available to schedule a game. And if you can see here, he has all these games here. He already got the game with block, which if you listen to the first video, you can see. So we were going to play week 2. So week 2, I believe we played. Unfortunately, I believe we played in Georgia Tech last time. I could probably pull that up on my thing. So you can see there, the thing is linked right there to who's the home, whether your opponent is going to be home or away. We always switch. Unfortunately, he was home. I was home last time. Or no, he was home. Actually, yeah, he was home. That's a good thing. So he's going to get 2 bonus points for beating me. Garbage Georgia Tech game. That was horrible. Anyway, click submit. The email regarding your challenge was successfully sent. So he's going to see the same thing that I see for these other coaches here. He's going to see my requests. He's going to click confirm. Bam. It'll pop up on my schedule. It'll pop up on his. It will take us out of week 2. We are done. Week 3. Me and dealer already talked, so I'm going to click confirm. That is done. Game is confirmed. Because it's confirmed, I can go back to current schedule. You can see Nevada is there. That is done. I still have 5 bye weeks. That means I have 3 games left. Sean will have week 2. So that'll give me 2 games left I need to fill. And it automatically updates your win goal. So you can see it was a push. I had unaltered 5.5 before. It is now 6. I had current 4.5. It is now 5. Done, easy, good to go. And everybody does this. If you don't do it, you're a loss. It's a good way to make some friends in this league, play the same people over and over, especially if you have a play style that some don't really like as much. It makes it a lot easier because you're out of conference. You can play people that are a little bit more used to your play style, as you'll probably find out through playing a bit. So a couple things. One other thing I want to look at here before I cut this off is the out-of-conference scheduling. For some of you newer guys, maybe some of you know each other. That's cool. If not, if you're completely new to the league, that's fine as well. You go down to scheduling, you have this where all the games will be scheduled, posting. But at the very bottom right here, you see OOC, game requests, which is out-of-conference game requests. You click there. If you're looking for a game, you'll have people here that'll be posting. Cutting off at the Virginia Tech, but I'm sure as people continue to post, that you'll still have people there. So yeah, you got people looking for specific things. Like I'll just click here, Oklahoma State. Are they looking for something specific? No, looking for anyone. Okay. Like right here is looking, you can see there, zoom in, CSU needs 3, either B teams or C and below, please. So basically he's looking for teams that are B, I believe, is barely better than Colorado State or barely worse. I don't remember what their rating is in C, so, affecting win goal. But that basically is going to factor back into the win goal, which I was talking about on your coaching contract, because your win goal here does not have anything to do with your conference. It has to do with the win goal when your finalized schedule. So yeah, you can see there, still got a couple games to go and I'll be done. For those of you that are new, don't really be too concerned if you're not having a lot of people say stuff right away. Some people probably are already asleep. It was a long draft. And also on that note, I did not say anything before I start talking to Sean. Credit goes to Buckeye and to Homie for sitting through 3 hours and like 10-20 minutes of a very long, I'm sure annoying time. There's a lot of work that goes into that, so kudos to those guys for getting everything done. Kudos to Homie for getting everyone placed in their teams right away, and also for getting the out of conference up and rolling. And you can see here, Buckeye put up a post. You have the link to the scheduling page. If you click that, it will take you right to where I was looking at. You've got the link here. This will take you straight to OOC. And you see there, July 24th is the deadline. Please schedule your games. If you do not, they have to go in and do the games themselves. And you can see, important enough that Matt posted it twice. It makes less work for them. They already do enough as it is. So you've got that. And you can see there Buckeye saying that he has, if you have questions, definitely feel free to ask anyone if you have questions. The worst they can tell you is they don't know. Most of the people in the league are very friendly. At the very least, I will be posting this in the NDL ESPN like I did the last one. You are more than welcome to ask me any questions. I don't want to say I don't have a life, but I'm kind of school, 2 classes. It's a little bit of an easier semester. So at the very least, if you send me a message on the message board, you can send me a PM. I can answer most of the questions, or if I can't answer your question, I can direct you to someone that can. Your conference commissioner will probably be posting in your conference very soon. Let me see if I can catch one here just to show you what it would look like, because you have your coaching contract. There we go, AJ. One of the great ones. Let's see. You have the coaching contracts, and then every conference has a commissioner. Feel free to ask them whatever. You can see here AJ is the commissioner for the conference. Like I said, everyone sign your contracts, and then if you have any questions, feel free to ask him if you're an SEC guy. But whatever, just find someone. We'll be more than willing to help you guys out. And that is going to be the end of this how to do whatever video. I don't think there's anything that I left out. Oh, one other thing. Now that I can zoom in since I'm doing this live. Back here to Dynasty League. Where's it at? There's a thread here. If I zoom in here, you can see 40-40-20 system, which is basically everything that I just explained. If you have questions, you can look at that post, or you can ask. I could have swore that there was a post directly related to rules. Why don't I see it? I obviously know that the 35-point rule is always in effect, and I'm just going to click on that. The quickest way to be kicked out the league or to be demoted, and there never ever is an excuse for winning by more than 35. Bad sportsmanship, regardless of how you look at the rule. So yeah, never get a lead by more than 35. And I cannot remember where the rules are at. I'm gonna have to look at this right now because it's really bothering me. I know there has to be something here. Oh yeah, duh. And the announcements. Make it really simple. All we're looking at. So just some stuff to look at. And I'll just point out a couple of things for the new guys and reminders for the young ones, and well, the older ones don't need it. So let's look at a couple of things. Fair gameplay and respect. Definitely the number one thing that I think that most of us agree on is be respectful of your opponents. Everyone is going to have arguments from time to time. It's just how it is. People disagree on different things. We're all grown men, because we still have yet to have a lady sign up for the league one day. The one thing that definitely can rub some people the wrong way is posting on the message board. I understand sometimes you have questions, but there's sometimes that people are, if you have an issue with a person, it's not necessary to post it on the message board. You might want to do it, like it says here, arguments and disputes will be handled in private. You have a conference commissioner. You can talk to the person one-on-one in instant message. You could even talk to Matt if you want to. It just rubs people the wrong way to put people on blast out publicly. It's not fun. It's not fun to be on the receiving end, whether you're wrong or not. That's what coach reports are there for, so it kind of helps cut down on that. But if you have an issue with anyone, you should talk to them directly, or at the very least get a conference commissioner or Matt involved. So there's that. Play within the spirit of the game. Something else to emphasize. It says here, running the same play 15 times again and again. We all have our money plays. The one key word that we use more than anything else when we talk about the rules in this game, moderation. No one's saying that you can't pass the ball all the time or you can't run the ball all the time. Just kind of saying be conscious of the way that you play. You've ran three pass plays. They've all been slants to the same receiver. Just mix up your offense. You've ran, the same defensive play 3 plays in a row. Mix up your defense. That's all I was saying. And then obviously realism. 4th and 37. Guys know when to punt the ball, kick onside kicks. I could see a surprise one every now and then, but play within, the spirit of the game, pretty much how you would see a game played on TV. So, thread already up, All-American, difficulty 7-minute quarters. You can use any playbook, customs included, even so it says any playbook offered online that does include custom. Some substitutions that people should look at. I'm not going to go into that, but you should look at that. Some people cannot play at certain positions. You can't put a halfback at a fullback. You can't put a receiver at tight end. These are just things that you should look at, so there is no confusion. Going down. Packages are all available except for these 3. No wide receiver at corner, corner. No defensive players on offense. Well, you can read that. I'm not going to read that. I'm going to confuse myself. So scheduling, blah, 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 blah. I should probably go point that out. Even though you'll talk on instant message, it's just good practice to go in here. Say week 1 I play whoever. New topic, bam, created. Southern Miss versus whoever the hell I play week 1. These are the times I can play blah, blah, blah. Talk on instant message. You can post back and forth here. In case the game does not get played for whatever reason, it just makes it easy for Matt to go on here and look and see, well, kind of chronicleize what happened, why the game might not have got played, so he can give a win, forfeit, whatever accordingly. That's later in the season. That'll be discussed when the time is right. How to have an active email and instant messenger account basically is to help get people, keep people active and make them easier to get in touch with. Gameplay rules. No gimmick plays ever. Never, ever, 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 ever take advantage of the AI with exploits. It's can't be helped. I'm not even blaming EA. It's just the way the nature of games are in general. The way games have developed, technology advances, therefore it's a little hard to catch some things, hard to fix some things. So nano blitzing, completely out. Delay bumping. There's other things I could think of, but I'm not going to go too much into that. But just play within the spirit of the game. There's some plays that aren't very, I like the Urban Meyer-ish point there, but there's some plays that definitely you could see run. You definitely free to run them, but you probably don't want to run them as much. You don't want to abuse plays. Kickoffs, you can read that. Offense, you can read that. A couple of things I want to look at because it's just how it is. Quarterbacks. I'm going to read what's highlighted. Mobile quarterbacks are a part of the game, but you do not call pass plays with the sole intention of taking advantage of defensive AI flaws. In any situation, running with the quarterback on a call pass play only is acceptable in moderation. Again, there goes that key word right there, moderation. Now, I will admit myself, I run a lot of zone. Me personally, I am not going to complain about quarterbacks running because if I'm going to sit back in zone, I'm giving them the option to run. That's also not saying that because I'm sitting in zone that you're free to take off 15 times a game. Because one, I'm more than likely going to adjust my defense after I see you take off once or twice. This is kind of going to be up to individual coaches. The way that you play your quarterback is definitely a quick way to get dinged on the coach reports because, though it's realistic for quarterbacks to run, it's also a video game, and the AI doesn't react as well as it should to quarterbacks running. So it's something to take advantage, something that can be taken advantage of. So it's something to look at. No huddle. I don't believe that got changed. You're free to run no huddle in those confines. Fourth downs. I'm gonna let you read that one yourself. So we've had some issues with that. There's some questionable situations with that over the years. But you definitely want to look at that. Subs, no big deal. Audibles, And hot routes, I guess you could link into that. Moderation, goal line, kind of same thing, but you can, and even with goal line, there's other sets that could be like goal line, so keep that in mind, like Maryland eye, wishbone tight, power eye. Those are sets that are like goal line, so they may not say goal line, but it's going to be the same thing. And then clock management. No one really likes to have the clock run down on them, ever. That's also another way. I mean, not saying that you have to call plays, instantly when you get to the play calling screen, but it's something you may want to keep an eye on. So there's that. Moving along, you can read the rest. Defense, emphasize this one. You may only manually move one player, and that must be the player you are controlling. So, and that's before this is before the snap. And Barras just sent me a message. Let me hurry up and finish this soon. Okay. You can only move one. So for those of you that like to control a linebacker, you can only move the linebacker. Yes, you can shift your team, but you can only move one person. So you can't move a linebacker somewhere and then switch to another linebacker and move him too. You can't control a safety and bring him up to the line of scrimmage like he's blitzing, or bringing him up because he's blitzing and then switch to a linebacker. Another easy way to get dinged in points. And some people aren't as anal about these things. Keep reading along here. I'll let you read through the rest. But those are the ones that seem to be big no-nos right away. And it's things that some people don't think about. So just bring it to attention. You definitely want to read it. It's a long read for you new guys. Yeah. It's not that we're trying to make the game vanilla or anything. We're just trying to make it a fun environment and basically make it as a great an experience playing the game as possible, regardless of flaws in the game, AI, whatever. But said everybody's different. Even with the rules, there's some people that aren't as sticklers on some things as others. So just something that you may want to talk with your opponent about pregame, just so they're aware of, so it won't be an issue after. So yeah. And then lastly, again, the mercy rule. Never more than 35. Cannot stress this enough. As it says here, coaches in this league who control lesser teams are the backbone of the league. Why we played in our 25th season, because we have guys that are willing to take losses. But you do not have people that are willing to take losses by 15, 60 points because people are running up the score, trying to pad stats, or trying to draw attention to whatever. It's all, I mean, like I said, we all want to win, but it's all about having fun first. So something you want to look at. And then blah, 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 with the rest. Some things you might look at. Disconnects. You'll want to read that because it happens. You'll want to read the resolution thing. But hopefully we won't have any problems with the rules. Very, very simple. Rule addendum. Creating a secret ghost. That's kind of slightly funny, but won't even get into that. Kind of sad that I miss him being in the league. But yeah, that alone sums up all. And that is the NDL in a nutshell. If you have any questions, like I said, ask your conference commissioner. Feel free to ask anyone in the league. If you look at the bottom here, the green, more than likely is a conference commissioner if their name appears in that color. Blue is someone that's been here a while, more than likely. And an administrator will be past commish. If it's red or green, basically, they should be able to answer all of your questions. Well, really, all of us should anyway. We've been here a while. So, yeah, that's all that I got. That's going to end this show. Got a couple of interviews set up. Talk to Sutton about the farm. I keep forgetting I'm on the West Coast, so time zone is definitely different. And we're going to talk to Doc here as well. So I have one more video before the season's up. If anyone has any questions, feel free to shoot me a PM. I can answer them on the show, or I can answer directly, whichever you prefer. Have any thoughts or anything, comments that you want to make, just let me know. Otherwise, that's it for me tonight. Good luck at the scheduling. And once we have all that stuff done, have something out to look at the beginning of the season. So take care. Everybody have a good weekend.